Well, joining us now via Zoom with more on this week's discussion is Mike Jugovich, the St. Louis County Board Chair from Hibbing. And welcome. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
Maybe you can start by just explaining in some pretty simple terms exactly what the board was considering in terms of refugee resettlement, because there seems to be a little confusion about it.
There's a great deal of confusion. I don't think everyone fully understands that the president put forth an order to allow counties to make the decision whether refugees are able to come or not. And I think it was mid-January, a federal judge from Delaware intervened and said that that's not the case. It should not be this way. So actually, the order was null and void from that point on.
Mm-hmm. When you're talking about refugees, who specifically would be included in this?
Fleeing your country for any reason that you may be in danger, whether it be religious persecution, political, there's all kinds of different things that go into it. But the refugees, the misconception is that they are not vetted and they are not legal, and that is completely false.
Mm-hmm. Were you surprised at all by the passionate response to this with protests and so many citizens wanting to testify and share their thoughts?
Not surprised at all. I think it's critical that we get the public's input, whether it's for or against. It's good to hear from them. We need to hear from them. It helps us with our decision-making process, and they need to know that we are there listening to what they have to say.
Mm-hmm. And what were some of the things that citizens were really saying in terms of their concerns or what they wanted the board to consider?
We had a great deal of people, 90 plus people called or through WebEx made contact with us, and there was a number of emails before that. So I mean, it's literally been in the hundreds since January. But I think that the message was very clear. You could tell which side of the issue the people were on, and they made it clear that this is how they felt, this is why they felt this way. And they really felt that we should move forward with whatever direction they were thinking was the right one. So we've had it from both sides. What disappointed me was the lack of information that really got out to the public.
Mm-hmm. Are any of the concerns that people have expressed in terms of job availability, you know, giving people from other countries their jobs, or not having enough government resources available in light of the COVID situation? Are those valid concerns at this point?
All things that came up, and I understand people get excited about that, but the reality of the situation is we have a problem right now with COVID, and it has played a part in this, which kind of made people even more on edge about others coming in and possibly taking work away. So yes, we've heard it. As far as it making a difference, I don't know how that plays, because we've had one refugee since 2011. I don't think that the numbers support the fear right now, but I understand people fear what they have a lack of information or limited information on.
Mm-hmm. Do you think in general it's a good idea for the county to have a say in whether refugees are resettled in the region?
I don't. To be honest with you, if the president felt that he did not want refugees, he probably should have cut it off right there. I think it's very divisive. I think you saw it on the board. I think Commissioner Musoff did an outstanding job of making it clear that the wedge has been placed not only in our communities, but it was on our board, and it was clear.
Mm-hmm. What happens now that the resolution has been sent back to the administration? Do you expect that at some point in time it's going to be brought up again?
It could be. We'll have to see what happens with the court case. If the court case, if President Trump wins an appeal, that very likely will come back to us at some point. We don't know what happens, but I just personally didn't like the idea of taking a symbolic vote, knowing full well that either way we voted, we had no say whatsoever in refugees coming to St. Louis County, nor did any other county for that matter.
It seemed like this was a good opportunity for people to connect with the county board remotely via technology. Is that something that the board might consider even after the COVID pandemic is no longer an issue, just because it gives more people an opportunity to be connected?
without a doubt, I think the world has changed to some degree. From now on, I think you'll see more of the Zoom, the WebEx, and people calling in. We have the technology. That was the main reason we moved that meeting from Buell to our new building in Virginia, because technologically it was much superior to the senior center in Buell. Not that the senior center wasn't a great place to have the meeting, and we will get back there for another, but that new building in Virginia allowed those people to connect with us where we might not have been able to get all of those people on board through the building in Buell.
Mm-hmm. And rural broadband has been a priority for the county board for a while now. Do you think that this could actually move things forward a little bit?
I think so. I mean, with all the opportunities we've seen with people making connections with WebEx and Zoom, things like that, I believe the future is going to be a hard push for some of these technologies, because we need it for kids in school. We need it for home-based workers. We need it for people that want to start a business out of the home. So it gives opportunities that might not have been there. So I think we need to really, really push that at the state and federal levels to make sure we get the help we need, because there are a lot of people missing out, and it keeps people from actually moving here, because it's one of those things where you ask if you have the internet, because so many people are used to it coming from other places. And if you don't have the infrastructure, you're at a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm. Now you're sitting there in your office, but the COVID-19 pandemic has really changed the way the county is operating. How are you looking at transitioning out of the shutdown, and when will that occur?
Well, slowly, we'll get some information from the governor soon, but slowly we'll start to bring back things and hopefully get things back to normal sooner than later. I know everybody wants to get back to work. They want to be able to go to their favorite watering holes, restaurants, and we want that too. We want to make sure everyone is able to do those things, but at the same time, we want to make sure it's safe to do that. Mm-hmm. So it'll be an ongoing process.
What about the county's budget? Has that been impacted?
Absolutely. We're estimating as of right now that St. Louis County will probably take a $15 to $20 million hit just from COVID. Mm-hmm. So it's really been challenging. Well, we've been working hard, giving the couple of extra months to get property taxes paid. We're doing what we can. We're working on different things with bars and restaurants to help them get set up for outdoor dining, things like that. The liquor committee has been working really hard, sending things to the board for rebates for liquor licenses if you haven't been able to sell during this COVID, because it was of no fault of their own. So we're looking at different things we can do. We can't do everything, but everything we do helps in the long run. So the entire board works very hard at trying to help out the residents.
Mm-hmm. A while back, you issued a statement maybe discouraging people from outside of the region from visiting. Is that going to extend into the summer? What are your thoughts? Is the region still closed?
You know, as restrictions lift, we want to see people back. We do. And I know that businesses are hurting, and we need to do what we can to help those businesses. I'm not sure what the right answer is. I know in St. Louis County, northern St. Louis County especially, we haven't had as many cases. And I think partially that was due to a lack of testing. But in the end, I want to see everything open up. I think we need to get some of these businesses back on track, because we're going to see a large number of small business not recover from this. And we want to do everything we can to avoid that.
All right. Well, Mike Jugovich, thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for what you and the rest of the county commissioners are doing to keep things rolling in the region during these difficult times.
Anytime. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thank you.